pretty good week. Became lieutenant governor. Yeah. Giants won. Yes. And now we have bocce courts. Good things happen in threes. I'm going to save all the thank yous when we get into the program, but first I'm going to let Mayor Newsom kick it off.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for being out. Trust me, we go to a lot of press conferences. We break ground on billion-dollar projects, and we have half the number of people that come out to a modest little bocce ball setup. But I want to just thank everybody that took the time to not only be here, but to help support this project for putting this together. This was perverse, and I say perverse in an enlightened sense, labor of love, because this was something that for years and years, as anyone that's lived in this city and anyone who's walked the Embarcadero, anyone that's worked downtown, and you come around this area and you just wonder what the heck is going on down there. Why is this piece of grass, this lawn, so underutilized? Why is it that we haven't actually created some energy around this area? And for years, we were vexed by some very big plans that were going to be difficult, including trying to reimagine this entire area with Valancourt Fountain and try to sort of bring this back to the 21st century. I mean, this was the look when there was a freeway. This is not the modern look. And if I had a third term as mayor, trust me, this would be high on my agenda. And the next mayor will get about 4 or 5 files that we put together on reimagining and re-envisioning the fountain area around Valancourt, et cetera. I just wanted to figure out a way of turning that thing back on. And we've had fits and starts with those pumps that are costing us a fortune. But at least we're keeping them going. But what we wanted to do here was try to get this space activated and try to create a little energy around here until we figure out the more permanent vision. And so was the idea of bocce courts. I love bocce just because it's so easy, not to be great, but to just think you're pretty good, at least if you're doing it against your little cousin or something, or your little sister. But then again, your little cousin can come out here and feel like they're pretty good at bocce as well. So it's a sport that's kind of a democratized sport. It's a sport for everybody. You don't necessarily need to be an expert. It's pretty easy to put this together as long as you have people that will support you. Just a little granite, little crushed oysters, and you could put this up in a couple weeks, I hope, right? Couple weeks, exactly, couple days. Always, this is a lesson in politics. Under promise, over deliver. You should learn that, buddy. Say 10 days and then come in at 8. We thought we'd have, thought we'd engage some of the businesses in the area, because they always were saying, what are you going to do about that park? And I remember talking to Salesforce, and Benioff said, I'll help. And folks across the street were saying the same thing. It's when I called Chris Gruwell. I said, Chris, get some money together, because I don't have the courage to ask the Board of Supervisors for general fund support for this, because I don't necessarily know that we need it. And he was kind enough to come out and get some businesses together, and AECOM, and then we connected with our friends, Ramon and others at Local 261, and they said, hey, we'll happily contribute. Thank you to 261 and their foundation and their apprentice program, and they said, we'll step up and step in. And this kind of became, we had some fun with this, put it that way. And a lot of folks came together. Vince is here from 261, and they all said they would help, which was great. And then somehow, good thing never is, never easy to convince down at City Hall, and then it created a little controversy because that's San Francisco. So that actually elevated the whole project, and that's probably why you're all here. Otherwise, you'd never even know we were doing this. So here's the controversy over even the little things. And so I'm just grateful everyone is here. Webcor, I thank you for your support as well. And to, I don't know who else I'm forgetting. The Bocce Federation. So this is a world-class bocce court. This is not, one of those 1960 bocce. This is the highest quality bocce court out there. So we're going to have world-class tournaments here, right? All right. That's right. And we're going to bring bocce back, Tom, in the forefront of sports in San Francisco, right? I didn't convince anyone of that, but we're excited now that we have a world-class. Where's our bocce champion? Benji this is the face of you know, a bocce. What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Look at that. Sponsored by Adidas. This is a big sponsorship sport as well. And Benji will be back out here. He's beating the Italians, and I love Italians. It's not a knock, but, you know, they thought they owned the sport, but Benji's now the new face of this. And I thank Supervisor Avalos, who goes, never thought he'd be in something like this, but thank you for your support, and the Budget Committee, and David Chu and Abstentia. I know he was supportive of this as well. So, you know, that's all I've got on this great day in San Francisco. Thank you to Rachel Gordon for writing all the articles at the Chronicle. I don't think she ever thought she'd write this many darn articles. If we had Phil Frank alive, he would have done 10 cartoons on these bocce courts. I miss Phil. But speaking of Phil, let's get the Recreation and Parks Director and thank his commission for all their work getting us here.
Thank you, sir. There are a lot of ways to describe our mayor, and persistent is one of them. I've worked for the mayor in a couple of roles, and this has been on your list for how long?
Don't want to talk about
Yeah. So we're thrilled to actually be able to pull this off. And like many things we're trying to do at Rec and Park, we can't do it alone anymore. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of our partners, to Salesforce and Webcor, Local 261, where we've got just an incredible relationship with. We just launched the first statewide apprenticeship program in California. And we're very excited. The Bocce Federation, Peter Zapponi is the architect on this project. Peter, where are you? Peter, just so you know, was the driving force behind the renovation of the horseshoe pits in Golden Gate Park. So we've got great little new fun sports and projects happening all over the place. I want to thank our Rec and Park Commission for support, Supervisor Chu, Supervisor Avalos. Crocker is next, Supervisor Avalos. And thanks to all of you for being so enthusiastic and curious about bocce. The Mayor's Office of Economic Development, Ann Topier, had a big hand in pulling this off. And so thanks to everyone. We're absolutely thrilled. We'll be back out here when, Chris? He doesn't want me to overpromise. So in 3 months, we'll be out here to to play some bocce.
First of all, let's thank Phil Ginsberg for letting us get away with this. It was not easy. Communities in San Francisco are passionate, and they're pretty passionate about however you touch these great spaces. And without his team, we would have never gotten out of the starting gate. So thank you. As far as construction schedule, this is a Webcor job. It's going to get done in 8 days.
Yeah, all right, 8 days.
8 days.
Now I believe it.
Before I introduce our next speaker, I want to say some thank yous first to the companies that have been mentioned before but did all this work. Had we not had your support, this project would have never happened. And if we could have gotten the money, it would have been about $200,000. And the reality is a lot of people put a lot of time into this. AECOM and EDAW, I see some EDAW folks here today. They did the original study that said bocce was a good idea and gave us the path to go down. Webcor, of course, early on coming in and value engineering EDAW's plans and making them affordable and doable. Peter Zapponi, without your help, we would have never gotten anywhere. He's put in hundreds of hours in designing the very first championship size wheelchair accessible courts that we've ever found in the world. So that's a pretty big deal. So let's give him a hand. I want to thank our partners in Boston Properties and Bob Peister and Steve Colvin, who manage this space in a private-public partnership, and they're going to help keep these courts in tip-top shape like they are to keep the rest of the square so pristine. And I want to next thank the folks who made it really possible, because we did all this stuff on a shoestring and on volunteerism, but until Mark Benioff and the fabulous employees from Salesforce, who are headquartered right here, came in with a $50,000 cash grant, we would have never gotten this done. So with that, I want to introduce Kay Collins.
Thanks so much, Chris. We at Salesforce are just delighted to be part of this project. It's amazing to see the community rallying around something that's so exciting, and we get to benefit from it right here with a view from our headquarters. As many of you know, Salesforce.com has been a San Francisco company from the start. We've been here now 11 years, hard to believe. Started in a small apartment in Telegraph Hill, We've got 5,000 employees all over the world. And when we started our company, we wanted to have a new model for technology, a new model for business, but also a new model for integrated philanthropy. And we've always really wanted to be part of the communities that we're part of, and that's just so important to us. So when we think about, our next decade in San Francisco, as we're building our headquarters in Mission Bay, we're really excited to be part of this project and part of the next 10 years in San Francisco, and all the projects like this. So thank you so much to everybody who made it happen, all the people who are putting in the hard work. Thank you.
Thank you, Salesforce. Now, speaking about the hard work, this very impressive project is actually a classroom. And I'm going to invite Ramon and Vince Courtney Jr. up and Teresa from the Labor's Training Foundation. But here are here are 5 students who started this morning at, what time did we get here? 6:30. Early. Nobody else is downtown at 6:30. I was impressed. We were the only ones here. But they are going to build these courts and learn how to get out and work on these type of complicated projects. I would not have imagined how complicated a bocce court would be. But they start with the bocce courts and they finish off someday working with folks like Webcor on high-rises or with Phil Ginsberg at Park and Rec. So this is what this project ultimately is all about, is giving real jobs to real San Francisco right now. And so with that, I want to introduce Vince and Ramon and Teresa and our partner, Mohammed. Come on up from DPW, who's also on the board of this nonprofit. He and his partner, Ed Reskin, and talk a little bit about the program, and thank you guys for doing this.
Well, I got to say thank you to all of you guys to be here to help us to make the project going forward. Say thank you to the immense help we have for all the companies. They're here. Webcor, thank you for helping us. A&B is here helping us too, taking all the dirt out of here. And thank you to all the unions that are here too, especially the janitors, carpenters, the laborers and operators. They're here too. So I say thank you to all of you guys who help us to make this happen. Also, I want to say the mayor is the one that started the Jobs Now program here in San Francisco, and I follow that lead. So I want to let you guys know how the Jobs Now work. The program is done in September 30th. So now we have these 4 guys here for Jobs Now. They're coming out of there. We got to give them the chance to keep going forward. They want to do something good. That's the reason we put the pre-apprentices program with us. Also for the supervisor, John Avalos, all those guys, they're more than 50% of San Francisco residents. I want to let you know. So labor's working with that. That's in this project. I don't know for the next of the projects, but in this project, we got more than 50% of San Francisco residents. And that's going to be our goal, to have a pre-apprentices from San Francisco, 100%. With that, thank you to all of you guys to be here and help us to make this project going forward.
Thank you, Ramon. Thank you. All right, Benji. Let's talk about the community support now. First of all, I did not know there was such a robust community of bocce players in the Bay Area. When we first started, we started reaching out to our neighbors, and I see Doug Biederbeck with the Market Bar and Chip Connolly with Hotel Vitale. Mentioned Boston Properties before. We've talked to all the neighborhood groups. I see the folks from the Barbary Coast neighbors down here. I see Jerry Crowley, one of the great neighborhood leaders in San Francisco, and they really came and showed us a way about putting together the kind of community support you need to put a project like this together in a public space. The most fun community, though, has been the bocce community, because we've all heard of Tim Lincecum, but if you look at the records, Benji's records are far more impressive, because he's been like the Cy Young winner, I think 7 or 8 times in a row. He's been the American champion. And I just found out today that the women's champion works with you over at Aqua. Michael Mina. And we had the former American bocce champion, female champion here today too. And they really are elevating this game to a world-class sport. And we're going to have some championship games here in the future where our best players play the best players from around the world. And thank you guys for having so much fun, helping us design this court, and making it the right way so you will have your championship events here. So with that, Benji, Tosi.
Hello, and I'd just like to say thank you to all the people that have already been mentioned that have helped make all this possible. It's really great. There is a rich bocce ball tradition here in San Francisco. It started with a lot of the immigrants that moved here 50, 60, 70 years ago that helped build this great city. And there used to be a lot more bocce ball courts in San Francisco, but as time went on, they started disappearing here and there because space is a premium in San Francisco. So this is great to help replace some of those courts that you know, have disappeared over the years, and it's just another example of San Francisco's commitment to supporting the cultural diversity of the cultures that help make this a great city. And you know, I'm the president over at the Aquatic Park Bocce Ball Club, which is the oldest bocce ball club in the nation, and we're always having to turn people away because the courts are just so busy. So this is another outlet for people, another beautiful location people can come play recreationally, open to the public, but we look forward to having international style tournaments here, men's, women's, children's, you name it. So this is, there are plenty of bocce courts in the Bay Area, but there definitely is a shortage of world-class, you know, regulation courts. So here we go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Benji. Now, before we actually put the shovels in the dirt, I want to thank another great supporter, Tom Harrison from the Rec and Park Commission, who has been so supportive. And then the two unsung heroes, which are Lev Kirshner and Antopier from the mayor's office and Park and Rec, respectively. They did so much work, and thank you guys so much for doing this. Our hats off to you. And then finally, community starts first at the office. I want to thank my partners from Platinum Advisors, Eric Patashner over there working his BlackBerry, and Jacqueline and Dwayne Jones and Darius, and then the community at home, my wife, for putting up with about 3 years of obsessive bocce talk at home over the dinner table. So with that, I want to grab people up to come grab a shovel. Mayor, supervisor, folks from Webcor, Peter, Phil, everybody. There's shovels for everybody. And you can always share. Jerry coming up. Students. Rachel, would you like to come in and dig a little hole with us? Okay. All right, guys. What do you say in Italian to get something going?
Let's all.
Andiamo. Andiamo. Bocce.
All right, so yeah, what? Uno, due, tre, or something? All right, well, just count down from 5. 5, and then 4, 3, 2. This is not going well. All right, here we go.
This is not that fake kind of Transbay Terminal soft dirt in a box. All right, keep working, guys. That's right. Keep working. Hey, Ernestine, how are you? I get crushed into the... Thanks, guys. You're good. Appreciate it.